The stakes are imaginary, and currency is not medals, it's victim points. Forget strength, forget grit. The real gold medal goes to whoever can cry the loudest while holding their iPhone 15 Pro. I see tenured professors who think free speech equals violence. And look, Meghan Markle clutching her royal trauma. In a front row section reserved exclusively for people offended that my podcast even exists and that I could say such things. Michelle Obama says she's never felt safe in America. It's so sad. While she rides around in motorcades with a Netflix deal and Secret Service in tow. The mental gymnastics there? Let's not forget the celebrity DEI relay race, sponsored by Ben & Jerry's, Amazon, and every company trying to sell rebellion with a barcode.
Find the colors, find the light. In the gray, we'll find our sight. Brutal banner, fierce word. Shadows scream, streets unheard.
Welcome to Stay in the Gray podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and I'm here to bring you raw conversations about life and those undeniable human truths. We dive into the chaos, one issue at a time, blending comedy, controversy, and the unexplainable. Get ready for transparent ideas straight from the gray areas where most answers are hiding. So stay curious, stay inquisitive, please stay laughing, stay in the gray. Come check it out. We'll see you there. Hey guys, good to be back. It is Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th. I was told I'm not allowed to celebrate Cinco de Mayo from some of the liberals who claim that if you're supporting illegal criminals being deported, then we shouldn't be able to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I was unaware that that was a holiday that supported illegal immigration. Correct me if I'm wrong. But everybody be safe, have fun, drink some margaritas, and let's get it rolling. It just fit to say that because I'm going to talk more about this idea of victimhood, this idea of this just daily oppression that people claim that they have in this country. And it's kind of beyond me. I'm kind of just baffled by the whole thing. So the best way to deliver this to you, I thought, would be to have some fun. And I've invited you all to the Grievance Games. It's the first annual edition, and I'll probably do it more than once a year, but welcome. And let's talk. Who's more oppressed today? This is the Grievance Games where unwarranted outrage is the sport, and everyone's a contender. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited. This is the most anticipated competition of the modern world, the 2025 Grievance Games. So here we go. It's where nobody lifts a finger, but everyone lifts emotional baggage. Where the competition is fierce, the stakes are imaginary, and currency is not medals, it's victim points. Forget strength, forget grit. The real gold medal goes to whoever can cry the loudest while holding their iPhone 15 Pro. So let's get right to it. Here's our opening ceremony. Let's get things started with the lighting of the woke torch, fueled by moral outrage and soy lattes. In the crowd tonight, wow, I see influencers with self-diagnosed anxiety from TikTok. I see tenured professors who think free speech equals violence. And look, Meghan Markle clutching her royal trauma. In a front row section reserved exclusively for people offended that my podcast even exists and that I could say such things. By the way, there are no U.S. flags allowed at these games, unless it's, no national flags even, unless it's Ukraine, Palestine. Rainbow flags, triangle flags, or a postmodernist remix of both. Let the games begin. All right, so here's this year's schedule. We've got the 100-meter microaggression dash. Contestants race to spot, label, and tweet out microaggression. I'm familiar with that event. UC Smollett gets an honorary ribbon for sprinting backward into his own hate crime hoax. We have the emotional support animal, javelin throw. Competitors claim PTSD because someone wore a Pocahontas costume in 2014. That's a no-no. Then, speaking of, the cultural appropriation vault. Watch the outrage soar when a white girl wears braids. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift got flack for cornrows, even though she's donated to every woke charity possible. No one is exempt. Oh, goodness. We have the cancel culture high jump. See who can leap to the most extreme conclusion about 12-year-old Facebook posts and someone get someone fired faster than you can say context. The privileged triathlon, white guilt swimming, male shame cycling, and cisgender apologizing hurdles. Michelle Obama says she's never felt safe in America. It's so sad. While she rides around in motorcades with a Netflix deal and Secret Service in tow. The mental gymnastics there, gold medal level for Michelle Obama. How's your podcast doing? Don't compare to my numbers. I'm not known. I'm not worth $80 million. Let's talk about the updated medal count, now that you're all wondering. In gold, I'll say, in the lead, we've got systemic oppression screaming. How about Patrisse Cullors, co-founder of Black Lives Matter, now the proud owner of multiple homes? She says capitalism is slavery, right before cashing her 6-digit check from Nike. In second place, we have cultural victimhood endurance, the gender studies major who's oppressed because someone disagreed with their pronouns in a women's restroom. Coming up in third, bronze, we've got historic suffering continuation. The fourth generation Ivy Leaguer who identifies as historically marginalized because her great-great-grandmother was looked at funny on a trolley in 1911. Let's not forget the celebrity DEI relay race, sponsored by Ben & Jerry's, Amazon, and every company trying to sell rebellion with a barcode. And of course, we cannot forget Lady Gaga, thanking her trauma while standing on stage in a $100,000 dress next to Tony Bennett. Life is hard. Let's talk quickly about race, reality, and the rewards of victimhood. Look, history sucks. Slavery sucks. Slavery was real. Jim Crow was real. But here's the thing. It's 2025. People don't like when I say that, but it's true. You need to think about it. We've had a black president. We have black billionaires, CEOs, justices, and moguls building empires. And still, but what do we hear? America was built on our backs. Cool. Now you're building generational wealth on America's dime. There are scholarships, hiring quotas, DEI roles, some of which flat out exclude white or male applicants. Heaven forbid we point that out. We become racists. Meanwhile, Colin Kaepernick is still cashing out an oppression. He's cashing in on oppression while starring in a Netflix documentary about himself. And regular folks, they're just paying the bills. Meanwhile, in the real world, while this circus plays out on Twitter, Bob from Nebraska is working 3 jobs just to stay broke. He doesn't have a safe space. He's not crying. He's got an old Ford with 1 working door and a fridge full of processed bologna. No victim grant. No rural white men in economic despair scholarship. Crying about his lived experience. He's not in the Grievance Games. He's in the Hunger Games. But nobody's watching. So for the closing ceremony today, let's salute this year's Grievance Games champions. The gold goes to social justice influencer crying on Instagram from their luxury suite in Bali. I'm going to give silver to the professor demanding reparations before heading out on a $30,000 lecture tour. Bronze, let's go to the gender non-binary activists protesting fascism with signs made from Amazon Prime boxes and chai lattes in hand. Take your medals, cry into your oat milk, and shove them up your ass. And remember, in the Grievance Games, it's not about overcoming adversity now. It's about monetizing it. That's the games. That was it. You needed to hear it delivered in a way that perhaps sounded so silly and so outlandish that perhaps you'll go, hey, it was true. Ryan's not just spouting off some silly one-liners. These things actually apply. I'm getting so tired of hearing how everybody's a victim and how it's everybody else's fault. Meanwhile, the middle class goes to work, comes home, pays their taxes, sends their kids to school, and they're basically funding the country, and they're funding all of these people to whine and cry. This GoFundMe nonsense that we have now, the Carmelo Anthony case, which I've talked a lot about in conversations ad nauseum on social media, the fact that a killer could raise this much money on these platforms where people donate is insane. It's beyond me. There's another case just the other day where a woman yelled at a 5-year-old black boy in the park because he was in her bag looking, or just going through her bag. And she ran up, and I believe she was yelling racial slurs at him and saying he was acting like a certain culture because he was rifling through her bag. Well, it turns out this boy has, I believe he's autistic. Forgive me if it's something else, but there's an issue with this young boy to where he would do that without thinking it was any big deal. And even if he wasn't, he's 5. And it's just kind of a, whoa. But this woman has, I think she's almost earned $800,000 on a GoFundMe type page because now her life's being threatened by people, and she's having to relocate. Everyone has to relocate now when they get into the spotlight. And it's this poor me, and nobody stepping up and taking responsibility for their actions. There's no accountability. Now, am I comparing yelling at a kid verbally to stabbing somebody and killing them? No, you can't. And that would be the case if this woman was black and Carmelo was white. It'd be the exact same situation. Don't tell me otherwise. But just the idea that everybody's like, poor me, and they're to blame, and it's just it's ridiculous. And so I've started the Grievance Games, and I'm looking to build on that idea. If anybody has ideas for some of the events or some of the awards, I would love to have a bunch of gold medals to hand out at the Grievance Games. So help me with that. I'm going to push this idea because I think it's healthy to laugh about things. That's what I've always tried to do, and I'm going to keep doing it now. I'm going to keep delivering the Grievance Games to you, and hopefully it catches on. Hopefully people enjoy it. So today was the first edition, so give me a break. If there was some stuttering or you weren't feeling it, give it another opportunity because I really think this is going to catch on. So in the meantime, this was a short episode today. I hope everybody is doing well. But like I said, it's important to laugh. It's important to talk about these things in a way where everybody can kind of get on the same page. And I think that there are a lot of things that are happening right now that are just unbelievable when it comes to the things that are being said and the way people are reacting, the DEI conversations. The biggest one right now are Americans who are actually protesting and freaking out because illegal immigrants, especially the ones who have committed further crimes, most of them violent, are being shown the door and deported. A lot of these people who are upset about this, they're not upset about this, they just don't like Donald Trump, are saying due process. Well, if it's a fact that they're here illegally, There's no due process. They're here legally. It's not like you need a trial to say that. They're out. This is not... The defense of these people is beyond me, and it's just another example of the wrong person being the victim. So, in a sense, you could put these people who are being deported in one of these events. You could even put the people who are crying for them in one of these events. Probably the biggest criers are these politicians who are actually going down to El Salvador, I believe, and shaking the hands of these guys and apologizing. We're sorry that we kicked your ass out of our country. It's disgusting to see where allegiance lies in our own country. And so to connect humor and sarcasm to these problems is something I'm going to try and do, because nothing else seems to work. Everybody gets so fired up, and before they really listen and before they understand, before they say, okay, I see Ryan's point, let's just yell at him instead. That's more fun. And it doesn't do anything. It just riles everybody up, and nobody talks. So let's try and have some fun with it. And if you have something to add, then please do. I'm getting lots of comments, and I appreciate every one of you that's commenting on social media. Keep doing it. Like and subscribe. Pass the word along. I know that there's a lot of frustration about this issue from people who are like-minded to me. So pass it along. Somebody brings up this topic, say, hey, I got this show for you. And pretty soon, hopefully, you'll have some Grievance Games merchandise available. Because I think this thing can catch on, and I think a lot of people are feeling the way I am, and so we need to latch on to something and unite when it comes to this. So thanks for tuning in. Until the next Grievance Games, congratulations to all of our champions, and I'll see you guys next time. Love you.
Fierce word, shadows screams, screams unheard.